Picture this before you blink. 6,000 American sailors suspended between sky and sea, sealed inside 100,000 tons of steel, moving silently across the Pacific like a nation unto itself. This is not a movie set, not a myth, and not a headline you skim past. This is daily life aboard America's aircraft carriers, nuclear-powered fortresses such as the USS Nimitz and the $13 billion USS Gerald R. Ford. Machines so advanced they can sail for decades without refueling, yet so intensely human that their survival hinges on food trays, bunk space, and working toilets. While the world imagines jet launches, missile systems, and radar screens glowing in the dark, what truly keeps these floating cities alive is an invisible war fought every single day against exhaustion, confinement, logistics, and morale. Every sunrise begins with an almost unbelievable reality. 17,300 meals must be prepared and served daily using only 7 kitchens. Not in a city with highways and suppliers, but in the middle of open ocean, sometimes hundreds of miles from land, where resupply can take days or weeks, and failure is not an option. On deployments like the USS Harry S. Truman's 2018 mission in the Eastern Mediterranean, where real combat operations against ISIS were underway, Chief Petty Officer Naomi Goodwin faced a challenge that would cripple most civilian systems, feeding 5,500 sailors around the clock with no room for error, no fresh daily deliveries, and no excuses. In a single day, her teams processed 1,600 pounds of chicken, 160 gallons of milk, 30 cases of cereal, and 350 pounds of lettuce, all prepared by just 114 culinary specialists, meaning each cook carried responsibility for more than 150 meals a day while working in hot, steel-walled galleys that never truly cool. These numbers aren't trivia. They're the literal fuel that powers America's global reach, and behind them lies a logistical ballet that would challenge Fortune 500 companies, with supply ships transferring between 400,000 and 1 million pounds of food every 7 to 10 days, often at sea, requiring perfect timing across thousands of miles of open water. One missed delivery doesn't just mean inconvenience, it threatens readiness, morale, and mission success. To combat the mental toll of endless deployments, the Navy deploys psychology alongside calories, using 21-day rotating menus, morale-boosting traditions like Taco Tuesday, Mongolian grills rivaling civilian restaurants, and even formal birthday dinners complete with tablecloths, wine glasses, and a choice of prime rib or lobster. Small moments of dignity that matter enormously when you're thousands of miles from home defending national interests. But food is only one battle. When night falls, 6,000 sailors must sleep in spaces smaller than most prison cells, stacked 3 bunks high inside berthing compartments holding 60 to 100 people, where each rack measures just 72 inches long and 26 inches wide, with barely 20 inches of vertical clearance, forcing sailors to slide in sideways and sleep inches from cold steel and another human being's breath. Personal storage is limited to a tiny bin and a locker scarcely larger than a carry-on suitcase. Yet within that space, sailors must pack everything they'll need for 6 to 9 months: uniforms, boots, letters from home, and the small personal items that anchor sanity. Many sailors working below deck can go weeks without seeing sunlight, navigating narrow passageways and near vertical ladders in a steel labyrinth where time blurs and artificial light replaces day and night. Even aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most technologically advanced carrier ever built, space remains brutally scarce because every square inch is optimized for function, not comfort, housing roughly 5,000 people, more than many American towns, inside a constantly moving machine. Officers may have slightly better accommodations, but even admirals live more austerely than most civilian executives, reinforcing a culture of shared sacrifice that forges trust and unity. Sailors cope with the claustrophobia using dark humor, calling lower bunks coffin racks, laughing not because it's funny, but because resilience demands it. Hygiene presents another relentless challenge. In a typical berthing area, 3 to 4 showers and toilets serve up to 100 people, requiring strict discipline, patience, and efficiency. Sailors master the legendary Navy shower, a water-saving ritual that uses just 3 gallons compared to the average civilian's 60, wetting down quickly, shutting off water to soap, then rinsing fast. Habits born from necessity long before nuclear desalination made fresh water technically unlimited. Even with advanced systems, failure happens. On the USS Gerald R. Ford, the entire waste system once collapsed, forcing sailors to use bottles and industrial sinks, while the USS George H.W. Bush struggled for years with malfunctioning vacuum toilets that routinely went offline across its 493 restrooms. Yet, operations never stopped. Aircraft launched, watches were stood, missions continued, and sailors adapted while engineers worked around the clock, flushing systems with acid treatments costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep sanitation functional. These ships are designed to evolve with their people. Modern carriers now feature gender-neutral bathrooms, reflecting a Navy where women make up nearly 18% of the force, a number that continues to grow as opportunities expand. Rank still matters, shaping traditions like separate dining spaces, the wardroom for officers, the chief's mess for senior enlisted leaders, and massive enlisted galleys for the majority. But regardless where sailors eat, no one goes hungry, and quality nutrition remains non-negotiable. At midnight, when the rest of the world sleeps, the carriers are still alive, and midrats ensure hot meals for sailors coming off late watches, reinforcing a simple but powerful truth: no American sailor is forgotten. What ultimately makes these floating cities function isn't steel, reactors, or technology, it's the human spirit. In spaces with almost no privacy, sailors form bonds stronger than family, learning patience by sharing showers, adaptability by sleeping in steel boxes, and teamwork by keeping massive systems running 24 hours a day. Leaders like Captain Craig Saliga of the USS Nimitz oversee non-stop operations that project American power across the globe, while sailors like First Class Petty Officer Preston Myler from Wisconsin take pride in running nuclear reactors that keep the ship alive. Many of these sailors are barely out of their teens, away from home for the first time, yet they rise to conditions that would overwhelm most adults, proving the effectiveness of Navy training and the character of American youth. They don't merely endure life aboard an aircraft carrier, they thrive, taking pride in maintaining personal appearance, discipline, and professionalism under circumstances most civilians could never tolerate. Every carrier crew represents America in a microcosm. Men and women from small towns and major cities, different backgrounds, united by one mission and one flag, turning machines of war into communities built on respect, duty, and sacrifice. So the next time you see an aircraft carrier slicing through the ocean, launching jets into the sky, or returning triumphantly from deployment, remember what lies beneath the flight deck. Thousands of Americans eating, sleeping, showering, and standing watch in impossibly tight spaces, proving day after day that America's true power does not come from steel or weapons, but from the people willing to live without comfort so others may live in freedom.